I've been waiting so long to talk to you, Watts, because before the pandemic happened, you were ready to come to Memphis to defend the title. We had a couple of dates scheduled to where you were going to join me on a podcast, and I literally sent you a picture of the studio. Do you remember this? We had shown up and we were going to do it, and literally they shut the studio down while I was waiting to do the interview. So I finally got you here to ask you about Memphis.
Memphis. I was so excited for that, man. Like, I was really looking forward to it. Me and all the boys were super stoked about it. Real bummed that COVID said no, but hopefully we get to still do it at some point.
Yeah, we'll definitely be able to do it at some point. But the fans here in Memphis, I mean, we get direct messages. Please tell us that Watts is still coming and things like that. And I know in the push, the video, you mentioned that going out as the Hollywood Heritage Champion and how cool it was just to be recognized. And I could promise you right now that if you were to do the same thing here in Memphis, especially with the hair and your size,
you do what I do, and I'm ready for Memphis, man. I feel like I feel right at home down there, man. Honestly, that's a city I've always wanted to visit too. So I'm super looking forward to going, man. Super looking forward to it.
And I know you probably have talked about it till you're blue in the face about Tough Enough, but that was back in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I left developmental in 2010, and you and I were all castmates. Tell us about that experience as far as Tough Enough.
Man, shoot, I could talk about that show for hours.
Bill DeMott.
Oh,
tell me about him.
Oh man, I don't want to talk. Oh boy, all right. So here's the thing about Bill, man. When it comes to like getting you ready for the ring, few are better than him, but some of his methods, weren't fun, for me or other people. But he's an excellent wrestling trainer, and his record speaks for itself. But yeah, as far as like some of his methods and some of his techniques, I personally wouldn't use them if I were running a class or teaching people, because I think they're antiquated and not needed. But yeah, I mean, the proof that speaks for itself for Bill. But yeah, he's oh boy, it's a family show, so I'm not gonna go into stuff. But
no, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was in talks to be cast on that as I was on my way out of the WWE developmental. And then I believe it was just something that it didn't seem like a wrestling person was really doing the casting. Who did you work with in order to get cast? And then how legit was it living in that house, with the cameras and everything?
So the casting process, I pretty much met people at wrestling shows. So like producers and PAs or whatnot came to show. They would come to actually Hollywood. Back when we were in the Showcase, whatever the venue is called in Hollywood. I think it's called the Showcase Theater. I'm not sure, but it was our old venue from like 2010, 2011, and it was in Hollywood proper. And producers would just come to that, and they were actually looking at a lot of us, everywhere. But they liked me. They liked my look. They liked my story, and they put me on. As far as the house. That house was like a freaking compound, man. Like, and it was almost like it felt like it was a home, but it felt like a gigantic set. So like things were strategically placed. Like, you walk into any home, anybody's home, and you open like the cabinet to grab a plate. You're not gonna usually see bottles of alcohol in there. You're gonna see plates.
Right.
But there was alcohol in every corner of every room. It felt like. And it
good TV, what?
To what?
That's good TV.
Oh, I know. I low key think that's one of the reasons why I got kicked off when I did, is because I wasn't playing that game. While I was there in the beginning, everything felt super real. Like I felt like I was like, oh, this is actually happening. But then the more we went along, the more I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of BS. Like lots of this. I don't know how much of this is real. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the way they separated us, the girls were in one had a room, and then the boys had two rooms. So I was in the main room, which is like the gigantic, like a huge one, and then there's like a little smaller one that housed a few boys. But as the eliminations were happening, week by week, which in those days a week was only 4 days long, but they call it a week for TV or whatever.
Sure,
The smaller room actually got eliminated first. So everyone who was in that room, in those rooms, were getting cut from the show one by one, week after week. And I didn't really realize that was happening until like the room was completely empty. Like no one from the main room got. So there's like there's like 7 of us in the main, or like maybe like 6 of us in the main room, and like maybe like 5, I don't know, some other number in the other room, like 4 in that room, and all 4 of those guys got wiped out first before they went to our room. And once those guys got, once that room got cleared, they turned it into a massage fitness training room. So that was always going to be the plan. They didn't just suddenly think, oh, let's get a massage table in here because we just happened to eliminate this entire room. That's come on now, like, and then and they would just like they would make us do certain drills over and over again. When I say us, I mean me, because they're and one of the producers said it themselves, like, look, we're putting millions of dollars into the show. We're gonna get the shots we want. We're not gonna put millions of dollars into a show and let y'all do what y'all want. We're gonna get the shots we want, and that's all they said about that. And once I heard that, I kind of understood what was happening, as far as getting the shots they wanted to get, putting us in situations that aren't favorable, and only showing the bad parts, to tell that story. But yeah, it's reality TV. It's a work, It's
now they were sending people home when they got eliminated, though, or they have to stay there.
I went home. It was like, so what they would do is they would nominate the bottom 3, and then they would have us pack our bags and then bring them to the ring where Steve was, Steve Austin, and we'd shoot like an hour long, just like tongue lashing. He would just tear into us, man. Like, oh boy, talk about freaking. Oh man, it was rough. It was rough. But nothing he was saying, wasn't without merit though. Like, he wasn't making shit up. He was telling the truth about a lot of stuff. And but it's just hard to hear that for that long period of time with that many people moving you. So yeah, it was real. Like once he got eliminated, he would be like, "See ya," you do the elimination, and then you would leave the ring. You would grab your bag. You would walk down this hall, and at the end of the hall was a van waiting. And I'm lucky; I was the only one local. Yeah. Like everyone else had to catch flights home. I was the only boy in that show. I was the only local boy in that show. And luckily for me, I got into a van and went home that night. It was like, sweet. Yeah. It sucked a lot, but it was at least I got to go home. And I'll tell you what did suck though was the very next day, the girl I was dating at the time dumped me. I was with her for 3.5 years, and she dumped my ass right after I got eliminated. There's no heat anymore, but she's doing her thing, I'm doing mine.
In the push, you were saying that some of your early stuff, you did not like it. You said, man, it was not good. So was that before Tough Enough, or was that after Tough Enough leading up to your current? Because the only thing that we've seen here in Memphis from you is just smashing people. Like
good stuff.
All the time. Just smashing people.
Yeah, man. The bad stuff was before Tough Enough. It was a little bit after Tough Enough. Like, honestly, like I think when I started doing bar wrestling, I think was when I really like kicked it into high gear as far as like trying new things, because I've always been told like to be the big man and kind of just smash the line, 1 or 2 things, and don't leave your feet, like, don't dive, don't go to the top rope, don't leave, just pretty much Andre the Giant. That's kind of what I was taught. So I had to do a lot of unlearning, unprogramming to adapt to what's popular today. What's popular today is that, at least on the indie level, is that kind of style. So to start doing that, I brought some of that to Hollywood, and I feel like my overall got better. I feel like I just connected with myself more. About like maybe like 3-4 years ago, I think I started to get like not be the worst in my mind.
Reason I asked that is because it hit me when I was watching the video, because I think almost every wrestler, you know, I mean, as long as you can see reality, like I look back at my old stuff and like, whoa, that was terrible. Like at one time I was talking to R-Truth and he was like, don't look at any of my, you know, old stuff. He started in Memphis Championship Wrestling. He's like, please don't watch any of that stuff. We all do it. Like, and then you kind of grow up and you mature. Share with us how you met Shad. You mentioned a little bit in the video, the push, but how you met him and how you guys became good friends.
I met him at a Glendale Studios Hollywood taping, and like I don't like have a, it's so long ago. It was after Tough Enough, so like maybe 2012, I think. I don't know. It was fuzzy. I probably have many undiagnosed concussions that make me remember things wrong. But it was at the Glendale studio, and I had never met him. We hadn't exchanged, you know, social media, anything or nothing. But he just pulled me aside and we just started just chatting it up. And he just offered me a lot. He offered me his workout, offered me his diet plan, like offered to work out with me, you know, all this stuff. And like I'm like, why, you know? And I think it's because I'm a big black guy in wrestling, and he like saw a little bit of himself in me. So I think he wanted to help me because of that.
Nice.
Yeah, he definitely saw something in you. We were backstage and we were trying to get a job, me and some of the other guys here in Memphis. And I had gotten my bag, and it was just before the show ended. And we were in Memphis. So he was telling me, he was like, no, stick around. Trust me, stick around. You need to be the last one to leave here. And he gave me some advice then. And just little things like that are so important in our business that you may not have known 12 years ago or whatnot. He was able to help with little things like that, and then remembered it when we saw each other again in developmental. And like you said, that big brother mentality, he was the beast. He was big. He was mean in the ring. But when he was out of the ring, he was like the coolest guy in the world. And I met his family, him and his wife and everything through bodybuilding as well at some of those shows. But gosh, it's like hard to even put into words what you see on TV compared to what you meet in person. He helped a lot of people that probably no one ever even knows about.
This kind of guy he was, man. He's the type of dude that would have given his shirt off his back if he needed it. That's just the kind of guy he was. Like he wouldn't hesitate. He would just do it.